Welcome back to our Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is your latest Arsenal news and transfer news. We are talking Mohamed Kudus to West Ham. We are also talking Tierney to Newcastle is back on. Tottenham Hotspur want Florian Balogun, and of course Aston Villa are in for Rob Holding. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. Kudus could be going to West Ham. They have the money. They also have the need, as Lucas Paqueta could be going to Manchester City. The domino effect is starting. A couple of deja vus, of course, as well, but we will be fine. We will be all right. Who would you love Arsenal to sign if Kudus goes to West Ham? Of course, don't say Nicolas Pepe because that one is another expensive deal. I don't even think Arsenal will get that one done. So make sure you think about a doable deal. One more before the window ends, and we could actually make our window a 10 out of 10. Now, let us start off with those big stories, especially with our outgoings. Let us start off with our Florian Balogun, who's actually attracting attention and interest from Tottenham Hotspur. Of course, last week, Inter Milan were leading the race. Monaco came in. They brought in 40 million euros in terms of a bid. It was rejected. Monaco will bid again, according to the information I have. But a couple of other clubs, including West Ham, are also going to try to make sure that they sign Florian Balogun. Now, Tottenham, after selling Harry Kane, they're scouting the market. They're looking here and they're trying to see who can they actually bring in. One of the names on the list is Florian Balogun, and the other is Romelu Lukaku. So Ange Postecoglou is saying, if you're gonna bring in a new player, if you're gonna bring in a new striker, you got to bring in goals. You've got to bring in someone who has actually done it at a top level, and those two have actually done it at a top level. Romelu Lukaku, I like. If I were Tottenham, I would definitely say let's sign Romelu Lukaku. Very energetic. He's done it in the Premier League. He's also done it in a much more difficult league than the French league are, which is the Italian Serie A. The problem with Romelu Lukaku is going to be the wages, the price as well. I think he came to Chelsea in a hefty price, in a hefty deal, and Chelsea will want to get some money back from him and from his buy. So probably they want to raise the bar. And Tottenham, like we know, they're not the kind of club to spend huge amounts of money on a player they cannot actually see a resale value on. Now, Florian Balogun then fits into the picture of Ange Postecoglou, young, energetic, very, very clinical as a goal scorer, and Arsenal will be missing his goals. Actually, we will be missing his goals. We'll be letting go of our most clinical, striker. He's not played at Arsenal. He's not played in the Premier League. But I tell you what, I think Arsenal know, and Mikel Arteta knows as well, that he's our most clinical striker if you gave him the chance. Now, him going to Tottenham might not be a big problem to me, because I don't think Tottenham are title contenders this season. I don't think they're title contenders next season until they reinvest that 100 million euros they got from Harry Kane. Tottenham are just doomed for now. But my problem is them building around Florian Balogun. It's them going, Florian Balogun is coming, young player, has a very bright future. How about we build around him, they start bringing in good players, and then become a problem for Arsenal and the Premier League? That is problem number one. But then again, if it goes to Tottenham and it works out, I'm looking at Spurs getting over 100 million on this guy. Like Balogun will cost 100 million in the future. You look at Moises Caicedo, 115. Look, he's not the most talented player in the Premier League. And you know what that means? That means that transfer record is going to be obliterated not so far away. It could be obliterated in January or even in the summer, because there's so many players more talented than Caicedo, and all the clubs that hold them right now are saying if Caicedo is 115, my player is 120, my player is 180 as well. So it's going to be challenging for Arsenal. It's the one where we already have to bite the bullet in terms of merely agreeing to sell him. But again, we have to bite the bullet in terms of what amount of money we are going to get, especially from rivals like Tottenham. But Tottenham are well poised to sign him. They're well positioned to get him this summer. They have the money, like I said, 100 million from the sale of Harry Kane. Arsenal should be looking to get a big chunk of that, like 50 million euros, from that money. Just make them weaker. I mean, okay, just get their cash. Still, I think Florian Balogun will be looking at the project at Spurs with the likes of Maddison, with the likes of players like Bissouma, and you'll be going, well, there's a project here. I could go there for 3 years, run here and there, get a couple of goals, and then I could run off to Italy or probably to Spain or, wherever I can go. So let me know in the comment box below. Is it a good deal for Arsenal? Do we sell one of our most prized assets in this summer to Tottenham Hotspur. The rivalry is there, but of course, in terms of balancing the books, the rivalry comes second. If Arsenal have to run away from FFP, if Arsenal have to make some cash in order to be on the green side of FFP, then I tell you what, money comes first. That is the truth. So, Balogun, if you can agree personal terms with Tottenham Hotspur, I can see this still happen. I'm sorry, it's not a route that players used to, exchange a lot, but it could be a route that reopens many years later after Sol Campbell signing for Arsenal, and I think William Gallas as well going there to Tottenham. It could be a route that opens again. Well, let's talk about another outgoing, and that is Nicolas Pepe, who has totally now agreed a deal with Besiktas. Personal terms were already agreed, but now they have also discussed how Besiktas are going to approach Arsenal and how the deal is going to be structured. So the player is okay with everything involved. He's just waiting for Besiktas to come to Arsenal and talk to us and see if we can actually get things done. Now, initially, it was believed that Nicolas Pepe and his agent are trying to cajole Arsenal into a state of allowing his deal to be a free transfer, terminating his contract. That's what we're talking about here. But there is an increasing possibility that Arsenal could get some embarrassingly, low figures in this. That we're talking between 1 to 3 million. Arsenal could actually get between 1 to 3 million in the sale of Nicolas Pepe. Embarrassing. I would say if they're giving us less than 10, let them take him for free. Okay, I said money comes first, so I can't now say let them take him for free. Anyway, I don't know. I just don't know how the deal is going to be structured. But Besiktas are now closing in on an agreement with Arsenal. They're trying to talk to us. They're trying to structure a deal that I don't know how it's going to be. But Nicolas Pepe is on the verge of joining them. Farewell to Nicolas Pepe. Fair play to him. He tried whatever he could as a player. It didn't work out. This Arsenal project has moved past him. It has moved past players like him. And I don't think he's to blame. I don't think the manager, Unai Emery, is to blame. He never wanted him in the first place. Mikel Arteta never wanted him in the first place. And I don't think the player has done enough to even reach the levels of Alan Saint-Maximin, Adama Traore, and let alone Wilfried Zaha. I don't think he's played at the levels of Wilfried Zaha, but even the mediocre wingers in the Premier League like Adama Traore and Alan Saint-Maximin, I don't think Nicolas Pepe reached that level, especially when he played at Arsenal, especially when he played in the Premier League. So it's high time we said goodbye. It's high time we said farewell, and I think Arsenal have just made the right call here. Let him go. Now, Tyrone Mings has picked up kind of a long-term injury. It was nasty over the weekend. Aston Villa playing against Newcastle, and he kind of picked up that nasty-looking injury. We do not know how long he's gonna be out, but Aston Villa have launched interest in Rob Holding. That speaks volumes. That actually speaks a lot when it comes to telling the whole story, in my opinion. Because first and foremost, if he was going to spend 1 or 2 weeks, out, they would definitely go, oh, we have Diego Carlos and we also have Pau Torres. We will be all right. But because they have swiftly, asked for information about the availability of Rob Holding, it actually means that Tyrone Mings could be out for quite some time. Now, Arsenal saying it should be 12 million if you want to sign him. Arsenal signed him for about 1 to 4 million from Bolton Wanderers a couple of years ago when we were still under Arsene Wenger. He's one of the longest serving players at Arsenal. One of the players who also doesn't stand a future at the club. So I'm going to say with this one, right? I can see him leave this summer. If the bid is not embarrassing, if the bids are not embarrassing like Besiktas levels, 2.5, embarrassing like 3 million, 4 million, if a club comes in with an amount between 8 to probably 9 guaranteed, maybe add-ons of 1.5 or 2.5 million, I can see Rob Holding leave this side. Now, Rob as a player knows that his time at Arsenal is over. And it was over ever since Mikel Arteta stepped his foot in that Arsenal door. He knew that his time at Arsenal was completely done. A new manager who was going to revolutionize football, a new manager who wanted footballers that are confident in themselves, confident on the ball, and players that were really good at what they do. So if Callum Chambers, who I believed was a much better player than Rob Holding, is gone, then I really think Rob Holding has no place in this Arsenal side. So Villa wants him. I would definitely be happy to give him to Aston Villa. They're building something. They're really, really cooking. The fact that they still have Diego Carlos, Pau Torres, and Ezra Konsa, and now they still want to add Rob Holding to the side, it actually speaks volumes about their ambition this campaign. So Rob Holding, Aston Villa, take the money and run Arsenal. Just take the money and run. And finally, let's talk about Tierney to Newcastle. Now, Tierney didn't play over the weekend, right? He didn't play over the weekend because of that little agreement situation that was ongoing. So he didn't play. Mikel Arteta left him on the sidelines, and Fabrizio Romano reported that the player was out of the squad because there is talks ongoing between Real Sociedad and Arsenal, and probably Arsenal didn't want to risk an injury, or they didn't want to risk the player having any complications and missing out on his move this summer. Again, another player that has just understood that is not going to be a key cog in the machine for Mikel Arteta's system. Why? Again, when Mikel Arteta came in, he transformed the way we play, revolutionized Arsenal. He asked for some standards. He demanded for certain qualities. Some players had them, some players didn't. When I say some players had them, I mean Saka and Martinelli, right? Because those are not Mikel Arteta's signings. But when I say some players didn't have them, I mean the 22 players that Mikel Arteta has told you can go. I don't think you know football. You can actually go. So Tierney to Real Sociedad is on. The problem with all these clubs, they're telling Arsenal, you're asking for way too much. You're asking for in excess of you're asking for in excess of 30 million. We cannot afford that. And I really, really understand, because Celtic are not financially able, probably, to pay 30 million. It's the same as Real Sociedad. If it is not a Premier League team, Arsenal will struggle to ship off players abroad for 30 million and above. I mean, all these clubs don't have that kind of revenue that Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Luton, and Sheffield United have at their disposal. So Real Sociedad are still waiting for Arsenal to make up their mind. They're saying we are offering you a loan deal with an option to buy, and that is it. Arsenal saying permanent or loan plus obligation. Now, Newcastle coming in, they're thinking about signing another player just for depth, especially in the wide areas. And Tierney is a player they are looking at. West Ham are also looking at him as well, but Arsenal is saying you either buy or you loan with an obligation. What's gonna come out of that one? I'll be waiting. I'll be really, really waiting, because I think these are all deals that are very close. These are all deals that Arsenal could do, right? These are all deals that Arsenal could complete this week, especially in terms of outgoings. I don't see what can actually stand in our way. I don't see what's going to stand in our way unless otherwise. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. Yeah, that is the update in terms of outgoings. I give you one in terms of incomings very, very soon.